Good morning, everybody, and welcome to video number 1. We are going to start off with the fact that out of all of Harry's lawsuits, and he's not doing well with all of these lawsuits, I might add, he's had another setback, and I'm just not shocked by this. So let's jump in and get there. But first, I have a thank you to somebody. Here we go. I want to start this video by saying a big thank you to Maureen, who sent these fabulous bowls to Finn. We were playing chase with them outside. They're obviously a lot safer than the sticks. Thank you so much for sending them. And I want to extend also a thank you to the same person who sent me this tabletop fireplace that I've always wanted to try, also for my birthday. Thank you so much. Now let's jump into our story for today. Let's go. All right, we know that Harry is extremely litigious, and he and Meghan have filed at least 7 lawsuits against British and U.S. media organizations since 2019. So let's take a look at some of those. Here we go. First off, they filed a lawsuit in 2020 because they said that the paparazzi were using drones and helicopters to take illegal photos of Archie when they were staying in Tyler Perry's house. They reached a settlement with that agency. However, we found out later on that Meghan had tipped them off as to where they were staying. Meghan sued the Associated newspaper in 2021 because they printed extracts of a letter to her father. And while she won based on a technicality because they had printed a certain percentage of the letter, it came out that she had lied about not helping out with Finding Freedom. So I wouldn't say that was much of a win. Then in February of 2022, Harry launched another lawsuit against A&L for libel because they printed an article which accused him of trying to mislead the public about the whole security legal battle, remember, and the police protection, because he was trying to keep it secret. Well, as it turns out, Harry had to withdraw his high court libel claim against them, saying that he had to focus on the safety of his family. And so, remember, again, he sued A&L because the article came out in 2022 about his legal challenge against the Home Office, about their decision to change his publicly funded security when he visits the UK. So A&L contested the claim, arguing that the article expressed an honest opinion and it didn't hurt Harry's reputation. And so in the ruling last month, Harry lost to have their honest opinion defense thrown out by the judge, and he was ordered to pay their legal fees. So he had to put like a $55,000 deposit down towards the legal fees, which they think are going to be at least £250,000, plus his own legal fees. Well, that's what happens when you try to push people around. And of course, don't forget the judge did a recollections may vary, because come to find out, Harry put out misleading information. This man who likes to fight misinformation online lied and put out misinformation trying to make himself look better, and it just did not go down well. He lost. Now in October of 2022, Harry started yet another lawsuit, and he brought a whole bunch of famous people in with him. He's brought in with him this time Elizabeth Hurley, Sadie Frost, Elton John. 6 people state, and I'm quoting, they have become aware of compelling and highly distressing evidence that they have been the victims of abhorrent criminal activity and gross breaches of privacy by the Associated newspaper, close quote. So they banded together to uncover the truth and hold the journalists responsible. According to the lawsuit, some of these are paying police officers for information, impersonating people to get medical information, accessing bank histories, hiring PIs, placing listening devices in people's cars and homes, things of that nature. Now keep in mind that the allegations they've made are slanderous, they're libel. So unless there's some compelling evidence, these 6 people are going to be in hot water. The Daily Mail has come back and has said that the claims are based on, quote, no credible evidence, and they utterly and unambiguously refute these smears, which are nothing more than a pre-planned and orchestrated attempt to drag the Mail titles into the phone hacking scandal concerning articles 30 years old. Now, the newspaper has been trying to have this case thrown out on the basis of it was brought too late. The statute of limitations has already come and gone. And in December, the judge said that the case could proceed. Now we're going to jump around a little bit. Let's not forget that also Harry filed a suit against the Mirror tabloid. This was also a hacking lawsuit, and it's been very long running. Remember, he accused the Mirror of phone hacking and getting unauthorized information about him by nefarious means. This is the lawsuit that Harry started with William. Then Harry kind of left it going. William stuck with it and settled out of court for a very large sum. A lot of Harry's stuff was crapped. He blamed Piers Morgan for telling the world that he had glandular fever, and come to find out it was released by Buckingham Palace. He claims that Piers Morgan knew all about the hacking. Piers Morgan has said from day one he knew nothing about it. And when Harry actually went to court for this, he came out looking like an idiot, because a lot of the articles and things that he claimed were hacking actually came from the palace or from interviews that he himself gave. It was not a good look. And I was wondering what was going to happen with this case. There was the broken thumb article that it turned out was not phone hacking. And then, of course, it came out that Harry is a hypocrite, because while he's talking about how horrible it was that Catherine had her phone hacked, he then released private text messages between Meghan and Catherine. This case, as it turned out, was settled. Now, remember, Harry had asked for like $500,000 plus attorney's fees. He got $177,000 in damages in December, and then he has to pay for attorney's fees as well. So yeah, that didn't go so well for him either. Now we know that Harry had his UK paid for police protection removed, because even though he doesn't live in the UK and he has official residence in the United States, he actually expected the UK taxpayer to continue to pay for his state-funded security. And he wants them to continue to pay whenever he comes to the UK, whether it be for royal events or not. Now, Harry made it seem in the Oprah show that it was the royal family who removed the police protection. Come to find out, that was not it. It was Ravik. It's their decision. And Harry's legal team is arguing that their decision was unreasonable because Harry was not allowed to make informed representations beforehand. Well, everybody was sitting around while we were waiting for Ravik to make a decision. Ravik finally made a decision and said, nope, we're standing by our decision. You don't get UK funded security. And then he said, well, I want to pay for the security myself. And they said, no, because then anybody who comes over can say, I want to hire that policeman, and they're not for hire. He has sworn to appeal. He's already appealed. He's lost that appeal. Now, the UK taxpayer is the one who funded the, people that Harry was trying to sue. And so now he has to pay back £1 million. Yep. So that brings us up now to what has recently happened in the last day. Now, in the lawsuit we talked about earlier with all the plaintiffs, you got Harry along with 40 other plaintiffs. Remember, he's suing Murdoch UK newspaper business News Group paper over claims of phone hacking and unlawful news gathering. Well, Harry's attorneys had applied to amend their lawsuit. They wanted to include new claims against Mr. Murdoch, who's in his 90s, and Piers Morgan, who worked for the now defunct NGN newspaper News of the World in the mid-90s. Harry is claiming that Murdoch knew about the unlawful activity at his newspaper as far back as 2004. Now, NGN has ferociously disputed this and said that's not true. So the judge has come out and said that these claims against Mr. Murdoch would effectively amount to a new lawsuit and cannot be folded into the current litigation. Oh my goodness, Harry wanted to widen the time span to include articles about Princess Diana that were published in the 90s, and also stuff that was published in 2016 about Meghan Markle. That's right, he wanted to include his wife in this lawsuit. It's like, really? Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. Hugh Grant went ahead and settled his claim and now they're saying that the prince might have to settle his claim because of the risk of high legal costs. In other words, this is what David Sherborne has said, that Harry is subject to the same issues as Sienna Miller and Hugh Grant, who have settled their costs because they could be liable for more money and costs, even if successful at trial. This is the way the UK court system works. What they're trying to say, if I understand this correctly, is that if they go to court and the court costs are higher than what they would have been had Harry just settled, then yes, Harry will be made liable to pay those court costs. So if he insists on going to court and then he loses, he literally could be on the hook for millions of dollars. And if he wins, he could literally be on the hook for millions of dollars. The UK court system is so different from the United States system, but I think they do that to keep people from doing frivolous lawsuits, which is a big problem that we have in the United States. But that can be bad for Harry. So I guess they're going to offer Harry a settlement. And if Harry doesn't want to take that settlement and he insists on going to court and then he loses, that could hit him in the pocketbook big time. All right, guys, I know that was a lot, but what it basically comes down to is Harry lost his UK case. Harry had to stop one of the other cases. It's now going to cost him like $800,000. He has to pay the UK back almost $1 million. And now this case isn't going well for him either. You would think he would learn, but apparently not. All right, go ahead and hit the like button to help me with my algorithm. Hit the subscribe button and follow me over to video 2. Let's go.